The brain itself is growing, and we're allocating 100 billion time processes into one moment. Depends on what we put our attention on. And it's the Ayurvedic consultants taking your punts and taking your incredible things to another dimension. And they're taking thousands and thousands of pulses and actually using more of their own brain in the process of coming through their fingertips. We're able to detect more information. Let me just show you how much the brain changes this from the zebrafish to the cell body here. It has a grand old time. The first thing, it's not to distract two people in two cars. It's summer. So experiencing the changes and wanting to develop driving habits, and unfortunately only doing this by driving. And I only have this astonishing realization in the situation that I'm in. It's not a mistake, it's tutorable. And not too terrible. This understanding of the brain is coming into, especially into law and order situations. Not that someone who's a teenager should not be blamable for what they do, but they're more adaptable. The brain is still changing. So it's a rehabilitation that actually counts. The sedation is actually in line with a virtue sentence with a person too. Are there other questions? The myelin. The violin. Yes, the violin girl is also here. In comparison. It's all in comparison. Parisienne. What is the kosher advice? 2 or 3 or 5 sense of self is very much in terms with the senses. Primary locus of everything in terms of objects. And if you're taking care of 2 or 3-year-olds and they're unhappy and you give them something new, and their happiness disappears because everything that's on the screen is where their awareness is. And this is correlating with the increasing connection. And then between 3 and 7, that's the next level of operation. Pure operation chops. Not yet having operational thinking. But what they have is the beginning of it. And they can then begin to consider that. And the symbol has a real meaning, a reality to it as well. You give it to a child. They have it at the H-box present. And looking at the present, throwing up and playing with the box. So with the box, they're conceiving of many different things. This is as pure and period terms of Mexican. Right and left part of the brain, violinating the next POJ stage, concrete operations. Now we're thinking about external objects and realizing that objects may retain their objectivity and their butterflyness. You need language. You need to be able to have symbols for an object. And as you continue to grow, prefrontal collection have a Piaget formal operation. The formal operation, you can think about thinking. And you can Piaget, this is the highest form of human development. Highest formant dormant. It really leaves a lot to app. Means what's happening in the formal operation is that you can be stuck in your ideas. And then again, academics, macadamia, really angry at argan oil, sales better, walls, and being stuck in concepts and stuck in the representation. Resenting Alexander the Great and the transcendent language of historians fighting about different historic personalities. I'll let you read it for yourself. And when you read it, you're going to be so shocked that you're going to record something like this as well and send it to all the multiverses, all the adaptations of the reality as is. Step in and take questions. Think more deeply about this experience of pure consciousness as it requests higher states of being. And yes, mamming. A few more statements about coping with the meditational states of your brothers and sisters. As content is coming in, we're experiencing some changes in dream states and vivid dream states wizard and identifying with them. That leaves the sense of selfness and no thought. Now, if you ask me or any other psychologist, he's going to say that's not possible. That's a William James saying. He says, that is an abiding sense of self. All I see is changing streams of consciousness, changing content. Psychologists, they're always saying you can be aware of yourself if you're not aware of some other aspect of your duality, the effect that you're thinking or experiencing, so on. But meditation practices, they give these experiences transcendental consciousness. You notice the quantitative difference in the other form. Brainwaves. This is a more full representation of a taxonom. Each line has a different part of the brain. This is the second, this is the third, this is the alphabet. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, the numbers. 5, 4 times. 10 hertz alpha, and that's the whole green. And you're going to organ this now, Louise, coming down to the state of cosmic consciousness refusals and during meditation 4-7, completely underlying the waking, speaking, and sleeping, dreaming. And let's see how that grows. That's like the cortex itself, and that's where sleep is itself. It's a classic communication between the brain and the cortex. The name of him, that's a group meditation, a short TM practice with the people reporting cosmic consciousness. Just looking at how much of this alpha activity that we see here is there during their sleep. Notice it's already growing in the people who have been meditating on the average of 4 years, 4 to 5. Growing through the cosmic consciousness, through gradual unfoldings like a flower opening up. And they open up. Lotus experiences that they have during the meditations, daydreaming. Some descriptions of their experiences enduring during the day. And then putting it in short terms, dramatic suggestions, if you practice TM, you're going to be a great musician and a great manager and a great athlete. But do suggest that experiencing change in the brain, transcending thought, is developing a specific style of brain functioning that's going to help you be more successful wherever you turn your attention, including your C-score, Z-score.